This is Councilman Al Vann from Brooklyn, New York. Formerly, however, I served in the New York State Assembly for about 27 years. And I'm pleased to say that I was at the founding conference for Black Leadership Commission on AIDS when it first got started. And so I've been involved in the HIV/AIDS crisis pandemic from the beginning until the very present. I've tried to play a very leadership role in trying to address this disease, if you will. But I've been able to be effective because I've always had the support of colleagues when in the Assembly and now in the City Council, and also because there have been organizations and individuals who have done the work on the ground to present the issues that needed to be addressed legislatively. It's difficult to have to both craft the legislation, determine the need, and then pass it through our respective houses. It's easier on legislators when the community comes forward and says, this is the problem, this is the answer to the problem, or this is what we need to have happen. That can only be done, through your particular body, whether city council or state and or federal. And indeed, that is what has occurred with HIV and AIDS. Organizations have come forward. And the reason why we had a multi-million-dollar set aside for the most part for minority communities to deal with HIV and AIDS is because organizations came forward and met with the Congressional Black Caucus and other leaders, and that was, I guess it was President Clinton at the time that signed off on that. That same model, that same approach came forward in New York State. I happened to have been in a key position in the state, chairing the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus at that time. And so we modeled what had happened in the federal government, or with the Congress, if you will, with the state. And we were able to set aside to create a resource, and indeed resources to go primarily to the Black and Latino minority community, again, to address HIV and AIDS. And as Providence would have it, when I left the Assembly 8 years ago and came to New York City Council, again being with the Black, Latino, Asian Caucus in the City Council, and obviously being a council member, I took up this issue with the leadership in the City Council, and we had a separate but similar program in providing resources to go with a very specific and unique coalition of churches and community-based organizations, again, to deal with and to address specifically HIV and AIDS. So I've been observing and been a part of the tremendous spread of HIV and AIDS, to my dismay, but I've also been a part of efforts on behalf of community and indeed legislative bodies to address it. What motivates me to continue is the knowledge that AIDS is preventable. Nobody has to get AIDS. It's behavior, it's precaution, it's all the things that we should do when we're put in a position of not knowing whether or not our significant other, or we put ourselves in a position where we're having sex with different partners, and all the things that can lead to the possibility of becoming affected with HIV and eventually AIDS. So it is preventable. Under all or any circumstances, we should know our status, because you do not want to be infected with HIV and not know it, because then you will spread it to your loved ones, whoever your loved ones are, whoever your friends, whether you're married or not. The fact that you have loved ones and it's an unintended, the fact that you could spread it and not know it. I'm sure that anyone here, any self-respecting person, would not want to pass that on knowingly. So you need to know your status. So you take the test and find out about it. Well, testing is important. How are you going to know your status unless you take the test? So I think it's key, and I think the three most important things, and my message is HIV and AIDS is preventable. And so you'll conduct yourself in such a way. If you're a teenager, if you're a child, you should abstain. You should not be involved in sex until you become a young adult. However difficult that may seem, there are folks that do that, there are young people that do that, and many more should. However, if it's too late, or that's not something that you can do, continence, then of course you should be safe. You should protect yourself. Use condom, use whatever methodology you can use to avoid having direct contact and exposing yourself to the possibility of HIV and AIDS. And if you are sexually active at whatever age, then you need to be tested. You need to know your status, not just to avoid the spread of it, but to receive the kind of medication and support that you need to minimize the impact of the disease upon you. As we stand on the shoulders of a fairly new organization, Watchful Eye, that have had the experience of blackout, but have found a particular niche and is making a reputation, but more than that, is being effective in getting the community to understand how important it is that they be tested and that they know their status. Those two organizations have been very important in my being informed and indeed keeping me motivated to stay in the struggle.